This government has time and again defended inaction by stating that Ireland has done more than other nations to support the Palestinian people. But the bar is not merely on the floor. It is hidden under the rubble of Gaza. In my comments today, I will speak specifically to the role of the media and the nature of reporting throughout this genocide, and also to the normalisation of so many breaches of international law and order. When it comes to reporting and to media, it's important to first recognise the incredible work done by many Irish journalists, and I would single out the coverage of RTÉ's Drive Time in particular. However, there are many ways in which reporting and journalism has been hugely problematic over the last 18 months. I have heard, and I'm sure many in this chamber have heard directly from Palestinians and their allies, how terrifying it is to be silenced in the face of genocide. Gaza is the deadliest place on the planet to be a journalist. 73% of journalists killed last year globally were in Palestine. And while Israeli government representatives are free to go on news panels, to give official lines and blatant lies which are accepted as true, editors all across the Western nations make sure to remind us that reported figures of dead children are from a Hamas-run health ministry. The words of Israel are never qualified by the fact that their Prime Minister is wanted by the International Criminal Court for war crimes. We are told massacres cannot be independently verified, as I heard on the RTE News just this morning, with no acknowledgement that it is impossible to independently verify such statistics in Gaza because of the blockade. Always we are given an invitation to mistrust Palestinians reporting on the crimes committed against them, but to accept whatever Israel says. I condemn Hamas, but even now my words on the genocide for many are discounted and set aside if I don't take the time to repeat that condemnation of them and their attack time and again. We're not allowed to say what is before our eyes without indulging cynical both sides narratives, something that the UN rapporteur Francesca Albanese called out live on RTE a number of weeks ago. All while blatant evidence of the murder of paramedics and subsequent cover-up is countered by copied lines from the Israeli Defence Force press releases in the name of balance. We're not allowed to focus on the genocide without paying some respect to the official Israeli line, no matter how high the lies pile up. And what this propaganda and the actions of this Israeli government has led to is a normalisation of horrendous war crimes considered up until now beyond reproach. In the past few months, we've seen what was unthinkable become normal. At the beginning of the genocide, people were incredulous that Israel would bomb a hospital, a university, a school. Over a year and a half later, airstrikes on hospitals, which are still heinous war crimes, have been completely normalised. They've been normalised by the impunity that Israel enjoys. Our lack of action as a nation, as an EU bloc, has legitimised that, because anyone who believes in justice, who believes in international law, who believes that these things are crimes against humanity, surely would have done something, anything, everything to stop it. Crimes against humanity are called that because these crimes are an attack on every living person on this earth. If we accept them anywhere, we say that human life and dignity is optional. It has desensitised us to similar crimes the world over. Hospitals and civilians areas are bombed and attacked in Ukraine, in Sudan, in Congo. Our failure to protect the lives of the people of Gaza is a failure to protect all humanity. Last week, I attended a briefing with healthcare workers for Palestine. One government representative showed up to that. I really wish more of you had been there, because what I saw and what was shared in that briefing room will stay with me for the rest of my life. Even now, our failure to act in a concrete way, to lead as a nation with such a clear solidarity from our people with the people of Palestine, fails us all, because in our thousands and in our millions, we are all Palestinians. And finally, I would like to set out just very clearly what our asks are as the Social Democrats. At domestic level, Enact the Occupied Territories Bill, including goods and services. Stop the sale of Israeli bonds from our central bank. End illegal weapons flights over Irish airspace and inspect planes. Remove the flawed IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. Examine the sale of dual-use goods. And use our diplomatic influence at EU level to seek for EU-level recognition of the State of Palestine. And the review of the association agreement is welcome, but it is revoking a privilege. We need sanctions, the same as we've seen against Russia, and we need to see true leadership from our EU leaders and from this government. Gur maith agat.